Right. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. So I have to disconnect kejap tadi because there's a technical error kejap. But anyway, let's continue with our session. 2 weeks ago we've discussed about Proforma. Okay, Proforma statements, financial statements. And if I'm not mistaken, we are quite in a hurry last time masa tu. So for today, we're going to start again by revisit that topic, which is this one, method of forecasting ataupun preparation for the Proforma financial statements. So for today, we're going to try another set of questions. So what I have here is for December 2014. It's quite a long time ago. Sebab if you recall, I said since December 2018, that was our last final exam. So meaning after December 2018, we don't have final exam anymore. But during 2018 and up until 2016, if I'm not mistaken, the concept ataupun the format of the questions would be 5 questions, answer all. Okay. But prior to that, okay, we have like this. Okay, kalau you tengok kat soalan ni December 2014, they have 6 questions, answer 5. So meaning we have options last time. Okay, way back in 2014, even 15 if I'm not mistaken. So when they reduce the number of questions ni, so soalan untuk Proforma ni selalunya tak ditanya in the final exam. Okay, so therefore it's quite difficult for me to find the latest ones lah untuk buat soalan Proforma. But anyway, the question is very much valid je. So we're going to use December 2014 for the Proforma questions. Okay, so it will be here in question number 3, Proforma. Sutra Modern Berhad 2014 financial statement are as follows. So they give you a complete balance sheet. Alright, ataupun sekarang dia panggil statement of financial positions. Okay, and then they have income statements. Then they give you some information lah, okay, to develop the Proforma balance sheets of the company. Then they bagi ada 4 assumptions here. So if you recall, 2 weeks ago during our seminar number 2, okay, in order to start the preparation of Proforma balance sheet, okay, first thing we need to know this information. The sales increment, okay, because we are using the percent of sales method, right? So we need to know this. How many percent will the company project their sales to increase? So in this question, they project the sales to increase from 2014 to 2015 by 15%. Okay, by 15%. So that's our first information, which is very crucial because we're going to increase most of our items by 15%. Okay, and then other information, they also mention about the companies operating at full capacity. Okay, very important for our fixed assets. And then the 2 ratios. Okay, the net profit margin and the dividend payout ratio are expected to remain the same. So therefore, they tak bagi they don't provide us with the net profit margin and also dividend payout ratio. So therefore, we need to calculate ourselves what would be the net profit margin and dividend payout ratio based on the income statement. Okay, these 2 kita akan estimate lah in order to find the NPM, net profit margin, and also DPR. And finally, number 4, okay, this is one we never discussed last week. I discussed about it, but we don't have a proper example 2 weeks ago. So any required additional financing will be absorbed through notes payable. Okay, through notes payable. So any additional funds needed, any AFN, okay, will be absorbed through notes payable. So we're gonna add the AFN into notes payable. Okay, so how to answer this again? First of all, we need to prepare the table lah, ataupun the title of the statement. So it's okay, the mic is on semua kan, okay. we're going to write the title of the statement, which is the company first. Sutra Modern Berhad. Okay, and we're going to prepare for the Proforma. Okay, 31st December. So the question provided is 2014, right? So definitely we're going to prepare for the following year, which is 2015. Okay, and they use the thousands here. Okay, so all of this I just copy from the question. I just add the word Proforma, and I add to 2015. So once you have this information, right, what we need to do is just copy back the information ataupun the items from the original balance sheets, but obviously with the different figures based on the estimations of increment by berapa tadi? 15%. Okay, they project to increase by 15%, okay? So therefore, we're going to increase our current assets by 15%, everything. So meaning we have cash. Okay, 1080 increase by 15%. So our cash will increase to 1242. Okay, 1080 increased by 15%. Okay, so our new figure will be 1242. Next is account receivable. So account receivable 6480 increased by 15%. So it's gonna be 7450. Then the third one we have inventories. Okay, so inventories 8000 original increased by 15%. We have 9200. Okay, so that's our current assets. Okay, our current assets. Oopsie. And to determine whether to increase our fixed asset or not, remember, we're gonna refer to the operation, whether it's operate at full capacity or not. So in this case, yes, the company operates at full capacity. So therefore, our net fixed assets, okay, we're gonna increase it as well. Okay, we're gonna increase it again by 15%. Okay, so increase to 12. This is basically it's actually 12 million lah, sebab dia ada thousands kat atas ni. So that's about it. Our assets total would be, so I'm going to put a total assets kat sini. Plus 7452 plus 1242. So 29969. So this is our new total assets lah. Okay, 29,969. If we compare against our original total assets, so technically they need to invest around 3909. Okay, so 3909 ataupun is about 3.9 million. Okay, so for this company, Sutra Modern, if they want to increase their sales by 15%, okay, yeah, they project to increase by 15% their sales, yeah. So what happened? They need to invest by this much, 3909. Ataupun in total is 3.9 million worth of investment based off the increment of the total assets by 15%. So the next question would be based on the liabilities and equity from which sources, okay, from which sources will be this 39009 will be financed. Okay, so if you remember again, last 2 weeks, we've discussed that the sources can come from two, which is internal dengan external, ataupun spontaneous versus non-spontaneous. So the spontaneous part comes from the current liabilities, except the notes payable. Okay, notes payable is not part of spontaneous. In fact, notes payable, mortgage bonds dengan common stocks are come from non-spontaneous. So what's the impact between spontaneous dengan non-spontaneous? The estimations. Okay, the ones yang spontaneous, we're going to increase again by 15%. So meaning, if we have account payable here, account payable, the original 3,000, so increase by 15%, it's going to be 3,450. Okay, next we have accruals. So the accrual 2005, again, increased by 15%. You're going to have 2,875. Okay, but for notes payable, okay, we're not going to increase it just yet. So meaning the treatment that we've learned last 2 weeks pun kita akan maintainkan lah so far. Our notes payable, our mortgage bond, our common stock will remain the same. We just copy from the question. Sebab all of these are considered external sources. Macam contohnya notes payable is short-term bank loans, mortgage bond, they issue bond from the investors outside together with the common stocks juga. So therefore, what we need to do, we just copy everything back. Notes payable, and we have mortgage, bond, 3,000, and then you have common stocks. And the common stock is 3,000. Sorry, not 3,000 as well. Okay, and we left with last one, retained earning. And if you recall, when we want to calculate retained earning last time, we need to have, we need to use formula, okay, to find the retained earnings. And to use the formula, we need to estimate, if you recall, formula here, for new retained earning, will be the old one, RE0, plus sales for the first year, ataupun sales for the following year, the forecasted sales, multiply with net profit margin, multiply with 1 minus DPR, dividend payout ratio. Okay, so technically we need to find the new sales, the NPM, and also the dividend payout ratio, because RE0, the original RE, is from the question. This one, 1188. Okay, this is retained earning based on original one. Sorry, not this one. This one, sorry. This one. This is original one, 12,460. Ini is based on current one. Okay, but we are not concerned about the current one. We are concerned with the expected ataupun the forecasted one based on the new sales. So we need to have these three information: the new sales, what will be the net profit margin, and what will be the dividend payout ratio, DPR. So we know the sales for 2014 was 32,500 ataupun 32.5 million actually. Okay, but the sales in 2015 are expected to increase by 15%. So if we want to find the new sales S1, we need to increase 32,500 with 15% as well. So we gotta have our expected sales to be 37,375. Okay, so how I get this increase from 32,500 by 15%. Okay, so this is our projected sales S1, 37,375. Next, we're gonna focus on net profit margin. Okay, and previous question, the NPM and DPR given in the question directly. But for this question, both NPM and DPR is not given, especially kat dalam ni lah. But we can find the dividend payout ratio and also NPM from the income statement here. And I'm gonna rewrite balik as a reminder how to find NPM. NPM equals to net profit divided by sales. Okay, this is how we find net profit margin. This is from the topic of ratios during our first meeting last time. Net profit margin equals to net profit divided by sales. And for dividend payout ratio, the formula would be dividend divided by net profits. Okay, dividend divided by net profits. So based on this information that required, we need net profit, this one. We need dividend, this one, and we need sales. Okay, so we don't have these three items. At least sales kita ada lah. Sales we have for 2015, which is this one. But the rest are from 2014 and the question said the ratios are expected to remain the same as in 2014. So therefore, kita kena cari NPM and NPR based on 2014, and that ratio will remain constant in 2015 that we will use here later. So let's try to find net profit margin first based on net profit, which is 2160. So NPM, okay, it will be 2160 divided by sale 32,500. So 2160 divided by 32,500 times 100%. So dia tak even number dia. 160 divided by 32,500. So here we have 6.65%. Okay, 6.65%. So this is our net profit margin. Okay, 6.65%. Okay, so for dividend payout ratio, it's technically dividend divided by net profit. So dividend was 972, for example, divided by the net income is 2160. So technically it's 45%, and it's actually here, it's given already sebenarnya kat sini. Dividend is 45% of net income. So if you take 972, which is the dividend, divide by 2160, the net profit, you're gonna have 45%. So yeah, DPR dia sebenarnya, the DPR is equivalent to 45%. So once you have all three information, the new sales, 37375, the net profit margin, 6.65, and the dividend payout ratio is 45%, then we can calculate the new retained earning. Okay, tadi our original is 12,460. So our new retaining will be 12,460 plus with our new sales, 37375. Our net profit margin, 6.65%. Okay, and our DPR, 1 minus DPR, 1 minus 45%. Okay, so we need to calculate this. 37375 times 10665 times 5%. So I'm gonna round up here, 1367. Okay, 1367, because the answer here I get 1366.99. So it's about 1367. Okay, 1367. Okay, but don't forget 1367 ni baru yang dalam bracket So you need to add this amount with 12,460. Okay, 12,460 plus 1367 be 13,827. Okay, 13,827. So you're gonna put 13,827 here. Okay, 13,827 in our retained earning. So if you recall, we need to find what would be this total, because we know the total liabilities and equity would be the same as our total assets. Okay, the total should be the same. Okay, but we need to know what would be the current values of our total liabilities and equity. So 3450 plus 2875 plus 2100 plus 3000 plus 3000 plus 13827. Okay, so if you want to calculate the AFN, additional funds needed, it will be based on 29969, the total assets, and minus with the current values from account payable until our retained earnings, with a value of 28252. So how I get this 28252? Based on this, you just add from account payable 3450 ni sampailah retained earning 13827. So you sumkan semua ni. So you're gonna get 28252. Okay, 28252. So you minus dengan 29969. So you have a value of 1717. Okay, so this is our additional funds needed. Okay, so based on last week, we're going to put sepatutnya AFN here, AFN 1717 to get an equal to 9969. But based on this question number 3 here for December 2014, the question asks us to absorb any additional financing required ataupun additional funds needed, AFN ni, to be absorbed by notes payable. So meaning this 1717 will be transferred into our notes payable. Okay. If you recall tadi, our notes payable remain constant. Okay, our original notes payable 2,100 kan. So we keep it constant earlier. But since the question asks us to absorb any additional funding in the notes payable, so we're going to add 1717 into 2,100 kat sini. So meaning 2,100 plus 1717. So it's going to be 3817. So I'm going to erase ni. And I'm going to put 3817 instead. Okay, so if you recalculate everything, you're supposed to get 29969 juga lah. 3450 plus 3875 plus 37 plus. Okay, 29969, yeah. And that would be our final answer, like this. Okay, so we don't have AFN at the bottom here with 1717 values, but instead this 1717 will be transferred into notes payable. Why? Because the question asks us to absorb the values. Okay, absorb through notes payable. Okay, as I said last week juga I dah beritahu, it's not necessarily notes payable based on question. So they can use bond juga kat sini. They can use common stock as well. So read the question and follow the instruction carefully. Okay, kalau disuruh absorb by notes payable, maknanya you transfer the AFN to notes payable. Kalau tiba-tiba katakan any required additional financing will be absorbed through common stock, katakan. So the process still the same. You're going to find your AFN macam biasa, but this AFN will be transferred to common stock instead. Okay, contohnya lah kalau dia common stocks. So read the question carefully, follow through all the process. Cuma final step ni je. Kalau katakanlah you tak buat, katakan instead of you transfer to notes payable, you still keep it 2,100 here, but 1717 tu you letak kat bawah ni, AFN 1717. So you're not going to get a 12 marks full. Okay, because there's some information yang you tak follow lah, which is item number 4 ni. Walaupun technically you are correct, AFN memang 1717, but because you don't transfer the information to the notes payable, right, you might lose some marks kat sini. Okay, maybe 11 or 10 marks kat sini, or 11 and a half marks maybe. 11 and a half maybe tak lah, maybe 11 or 10 and a half marks tinggal. Okay, so yeah, that's about it for Proforma financial statements. Okay, so as I said, this is recap from 2 weeks ago. Kita dah buat dah sebenarnya, go through the process very slowly 2 weeks ago in terms of the sections, especially mana yang kita akan increasekan by the percent of sales tu, mana yang increase depending on the condition like full capacity ni. For the liability side, the equity side, semua kita dah discuss 2 weeks ago. Alright, and just to inform, as always kan, at the end of the session, I always share the videos kan, share the videos. Alright, and if you notice in your future tu, I ada share the playlist before, okay, but the playlist tu is belong to your group alone. But if you rajin enough, in dalam playlist tu, you will go to the content kan, and to the main channel tu, actually you can browse other groups punya juga. But I have 2 groups for this. Okay, you all to A kan, so I have group 2B as well. So usually I will use different examples masa buat, you know, walk through untuk calculation ni lah. So if you want to see other past year's questions, okay, that I'll go through the same, okay, you can visit other groups punya videos juga, sebab I made it public juga. Okay, so you just sama ada you rajin ataupun nak tengok ke tak je lah. So just go through the main channel tu, you boleh go through other groups punya videos as well, and to see other examples, you boleh tengok kat situ lah. Okay, not only for this topic and for the future topics as well. If possible, I will use different examples so that you have more options lah kan, nak go through in terms of the questions. Okay, so this is about Proforma financial statement, which is one part of our topic number 4. Okay, ada soalan tak? Okay, so topic number 4 ni will be part of your first test. Okay, your first test akan keluar these 2 topics Okay, method of forecasting and also for cash budget. So that's why I revisit balik method forecasting ataupun Proforma tadi so that you can really understand the process of calculating the Proforma financial statements. Okay, so if there's no question, let's move on to the cash budget. So this is another part of financial forecasting. I skip this subtopic first because it might memang dia akan ambil slightly longer time to explain. So last time kita ada macam like half an hour je kot. So that's why we go to Proforma first. Okay, but anyway, so for today, we're going to go through the cash budget. Okay, similar like Proforma, cash budget ni is something that we are preparing for the future. Okay, hence the name forecasting tadi lah, and also planning. We are planning our estimations for the future. Okay, so the name cash budget ni, okay, represents cash lah. So meaning in our statement later on, the information in the statement is just based on cash transactions. So any non-cash transaction will not be part of our statement. Okay, so cash budget is a statement with a firm's plan inflows and outflows. So there are 2 elements here, inflows and outflows. So inflows means incoming cash. So outflows ni outgoing cash. So ni incoming income. So outgoing ni basically more on the expenses. Okay, expenses of the company of using cash. Okay, so by having this incoming and outgoing cash recorded in our statements, we can determine whether the company requires funding, borrowings, or they might have excess. Okay, so at the end of the day, when we look at the incoming versus outgoing, we can know whether the company might have surplus of cash or deficit of cash. Okay, this one they might have cash surplus or cash deficit. Right, but before we go through what's the purpose of knowing the surplus and deficit, usually the cash budget will design to cover a 1-year period, just like any other statement we've done, we've go through so far. Okay, the statement of financial position, the income statement, everything covers 1 year. Okay, but for cash budget, even though it's for 1 year, they will be divided into smaller time intervals. So when we talk about smaller time intervals, usually we will do it on monthly basis. Okay, even though for 1 year, so maknanya kita akan records on monthly basis, January, February sampailah December. Okay, but if we talk about preparing the cash budget in the test ataupun in the exam, ya, so kalaulah soalan suruh buat for 1 year, it will take quite long time to prepare. Okay, so if you talk about exams, for example, the question usually will ask you to prepare just for 1 quarter. Okay, 1 quarter. So 1 quarter equivalent to about 3 months. Okay, you're going to prepare on monthly basis, but just for 3 months. Okay, just for 3 months. Selalunya. Okay, selalunya. I pernah nampak soalan tu dia tak suruh buat 3 months, dia suruh buat 4 months instead. So just read on the question lah. So most of the time, 99% they will ask you for 1 quarter. Tapi pernah dia tanya, dia suruh buat for 4 months. Okay, just read the question carefully. Okay, so it comprises detailed plan of future cash flow. And again, when we talk about future cash flow, it consists both lah, incoming and outgoing cash flows. Okay, the incomes and also the expenses. Right. So here we have 4 elements in the cash budget. So 4 elements indicates that we have 4 steps how to prepare the cash budget. So the first one here, we're going to have the cash receipts. Okay, so this is the income part. Okay, the income. So for cash receipts, usually the income comes from sales revenues. Okay, so majority of the transaction comes from sales transaction, but again, not every sales happens via cash payment. Okay, so that's very important later on. Nanti akan nampak lah, kita akan record according to the receipts of the payment from our customers for the sales tu. Okay, kita akan record accordingly lah, the values and also the timing, okay, of the income. That's number 1. Okay, and besides sales, okay, companies punya income can come from other source of income juga. For example, if the company has invested in shares, for example, ataupun invested in any investment, and the investment will give back dividend as income, contohnya. So dividend akan masuk dalam cash receipt as well. Sebab tu menunjukkan duit masuk, dividend received. Similarly, kalau di invest in certain investment yang bagi interest payment, okay, so dia akan masuk dalam receipt as well. Okay, or satu lagi, kalau dia ada invest in properties, for example, and the income datang daripada rental, okay, rental income. So rental income pun masuk dalam cash receipts. So in short, any incoming money lah, any income from either sales, direct from sales operation dia, ataupun from their investment, they will be part of the cash receipts. Okay, number 2 is the cash disbursement. Okay, so this is the expenses as cakap tadi, expenses ataupun the outflow. Okay, the outflow of the company, cash outflow specifically. So for cash disbursement, okay, kalau receipt tadi we start with sales, yeah. For cash disbursement, we will always start with purchases. Okay, purchases, and these purchases usually happen from the supplier. Maknanya dia akan beli either raw material ataupun the finished goods from the suppliers before this company will resell it back to the customer. Okay, so and on top of the purchases and also payment for purchases, the disbursement will consist all other expenses. Okay, macam kalau expenses ada macam-macam lah. Can be in the form of payment for rental. Kalau dia menyewa kan, dia kena bayar rental every month, so akan masuk disbursement. If they have utility bills, they have to pay salaries and wages to their workers. They have to pay lagi any other purchases. Kalau dia beli new machines ke, invest in new motor vehicles ke. So all of those expenses will be parked under cash disbursement, right? And once you have these cash receipts and cash disbursement, okay, we need to find the total nanti, the total of cash receipts and the total of cash disbursement. So the next part, we're going to find the net cash flow. So number 3 is the net changes. So the net changes is basically net cash flow. Net. So to find net cash flow is simply net cash receipts minus total cash disbursement to get the net cash flow. So if their income is more than their expenses, obviously we're going to have a positive net cash flow for that month. Okay, and vice versa, if its income is lower than the outflow, then we're going to have a negative net cash flow. So meaning they overspend that particular month. Okay, and the final step is the net financing needed, ataupun selalunya kita panggil dia reconciliation. Okay, cash reconciliation. So for cash reconciliation, we're going to have 5 items under cash reconciliation. Kejap lagi I share with you lah dia punya format cash reconciliation. So, but for cash reconciliation, the 5th item ataupun the very last item that we have in cash reconciliation, again, we're going to find whether the company has surplus or deficit. Okay, so these would be the strategies that we can use. If the company has surplus, we can make investment plan. So meaning if they consistently to have excess of cash every month, then as the company can make investment plan. Dia tahulah the cash is always excess. Might as well the cash to be invested somewhere else because cash is a non-earning assets. Okay, dia tak bagi you any income kalau kita simpan dia dalam bentuk cash all the time. So therefore, in order to get returns, we need to invest. Okay, so that's the purpose if you know how much cash surplus we have lah. Right, and similarly, if we have cash deficit, meaning if we have a shortage of cash, we can plan for borrowings, where to borrow our money from. Okay, remember, the whole thing here are based on estimations, and by doing estimations, we can predict whether we need to borrow in the future ataupun we have surplus for investment. That's again the purpose of cash budget at the first place. Okay, so like I said, 4 elements comes with the 4 steps. So for the first and second steps, the concept ataupun the approach will be the same. Okay, so look closely. First, to determine the amount and also the timing of the cash receipts. Okay, the amount and the timing of the cash receipts. Okay. So what does it mean here to determine the amount and timing of cash receipts? Because we are concerned, okay, with the transactions happen at that particular time. Okay, even though we have sales happening, as I said earlier, not every sales, the customer will pay by cash. Sometimes we give credit to customer. Okay, customer akan bayar next month ataupun 2 months from now. So therefore, we need to record accordingly for that particular month. Berapa sebenarnya, walaupun sales berlaku a certain amount that month, but sometimes the transaction not recorded on that particular month. For example, so I'm going to write, for example, transaction kat sini just for the sake of illustration. Katakanlah sales in Jan, January 600,000. Katakan 600,000. Sales in Jan, 600,000. Okay. However, customer will pay cash only around 40%. Okay. 40% customer akan bayar by cash. Out of the 600, 40% dia cash. So what happened to the 60%? Dia akan bayar this by credit. Okay, credit 60% lah. Okay, and this 60% will be paid, let's say 1 month later. So what does it mean to record according to the amount and the timing? So therefore, if you want to prepare the cash budget, so if you want to record the sales kat sini, katakanlah sales, muat sebenarnya. So I rewrite balik I punya assumption tadi. The sales in Jan 600,000. Cash payment 40%. Credit 60%. Okay, and this will be paid 1 month later. Okay, so how to record according to the timing and also to the value. Okay, so in our cash budget later, you will see kita kena buat based on quarter as I said. Okay, so since dia bagi ni Jan, so the first quarter will be from Jan, February, and also March. So you're going to prepare for the first 3 months. Okay, and our first item kita ada sales kat sini kan. Okay, so sales dia 600,000. 600,000. So you're going to record that 600,000 in Jan. Okay, so that's the value and the timing is January. However, in terms of, I ulang balik the cash budget concerned about the cash. This sales 600,000, not all are cash because we know this split between cash and credit kat sini. So when we set to determine the value and timing, okay, so for cash transactions, for example, okay, we know it values 40% of it. So I letak sini 40%. Cash is 40%. So 40% of 600,000, berapa? 600,000. 240 ke Okay, 240,000. So we know the value is 240,000 and when this happened, it happened in January. So 240,000 will be received in January itself. 240,000. How I know? Because the cash transaction is 40% and 40% of 600,000 is 240,000. So what happened to the rest of the money? Ada around 360 lagi, 360,000. So when we will receive this 360,000? Okay, because dalam ni dia bagi assumption credit 60% will be received 1 month later. So meaning 1 month later, kita akan hanya terima ni. If I put here 1 month later, how much? 60%. So 60% of 600,000 is 360. And this 360 will be received 1 month later, which is in February. So we're going to record this 1 month 60% here in February, 360,000. So that's how we record, okay, based on the timing and based on the value. Yeah, amount dengan timing. So yeah, back to this one. So ni baru 1 bulan. So we need to find for Feb, March, and the rest of the information we need to find. Okay, so if we're preparing for first quarter like this, so all information for Jan, February, and March, we need to complete it. Okay, in order to get marks lah, obviously. Now, so that's step number 1. Okay, to determine the amount. So selalunya soalan akan bagi you dalam bentuk ratio lah, percentage, and also the timing. Okay, cash ke, 1 month delay, 2 months delay, 1 month deferred, 2 months deferred. And also sometimes for other income ni, macam contohnya rental. Okay, rental selalunya obviously lah kalau kita bagi sewa, the customer maybe bayar on monthly basis. So you're going to receive a consistent ataupun a fixed income every month, contohnya for rental. Tapi for dividend, contohnya maybe dividend akan diterima once every quarter saja. So yeah, you need to read the question lah. The question akan specify what will be dividend. Payment tu bila, when. So we need to record the correct amounts and the correct time. Okay, so that's step number 1. Right. So any income ataupun any inflows, we're going to record in cash receipts. Okay, so ni example dia lah. Sales, account receivables, which is the credit tadi credit sales tu masuk account receivable. And also kalau ada lah rental income, dividend income ataupun interest income. For step number 2, majority of our transaction happens actually in step number 2. Okay, the disbursement ataupun the expenses. So all cash outflows will be recorded in step number 2. Similarly, we're going to base on amount and also timing correctly. Okay, so we will start with purchases. and follow through by the payment of that purchases and any other expenses yang lain. So we're going to go through all the questions step by step in ensuring that kita tak ada miss any information. Okay, so once you have completed step number 1 and 2, obviously sepatutnya step number 1 tadi you akan cari the total of cash receipts, and for step number 2 we're going to find the total for cash disbursement. So once we have these two totals, step number 3 we're going to find the net cash flow. So just differentiate between the inflows versus the outflow. So we take total cash receipts minus total cash disbursement. Okay, very straightforward. Just one item je. So once you have that net cash flow, we're going to prepare the what we call as the cash reconciliation. And if you notice here, the first item dalam cash reconciliation is the net cash flow itself. So for step number 3 and number 4, selalunya I will combine, because why we need to put 2 times kan net cash flow. So usually I will combine je. Once kita dah cari net cash flow, I terus prepare the reconciliation accounts. Okay, so meaning after we determine the net cash flow, we need to add. Okay, I tambah kata add kat sini. The beginning balance, beginning cash balance. So this beginning cash balance selalunya akan diberi dalam soalan. The question will provide you with the beginning balance. And this beginning balance is actually carry forward from the previous month. Okay, I think you're aware the concept of accounts kan. So when we have an account of cash ni, so when we open the new month, okay, so the value to carry forward from the previous month. Okay, so this beginning cash balance come from the previous month, and when we carry forward to this month, okay, we're going to add with the net cash flow that happened in that particular month. Okay, remember net cash flow ni hasil daripada duit masuk tolak duit keluar for that month. So if you have excess positive values kat sini, bila kita tambah dengan beginning cash balance carry forward from the previous month, at the end of the month, okay, kita akan ada ending balance lah. Ending balance. Okay, this ending balance will be carry forward pula untuk the next month. Dia akan jadi beginning balance for the next month pula. So the process will continue that way. Okay, net cash flow plus beginning cash, and then end up will have ending balance. Okay, and this ending balance will be the beginning balance for the next month. Okay, plus balik dengan cash flow, then we get ending balance again for the next month, and then process to continue lah. Okay, so that's one part. So we have 3 items kat sini. We have net cash flow, we have beginning balance, and then end up with ending balance. So 3 items. Next, okay, we have minimum balance ataupun minimum cash requirement. So this minimum cash requirement are based on policy, company's policy. So meaning this is like a reserve lah. Company kata, okay, we need to keep aside a certain amount of money as cash balance ataupun cash reserve. Okay, so here we need to deduct lah sebab kita nak make sure this amount will be reserved at all times. Contohnya. So therefore we need to minus. Okay, whatever ending that we have, we need to minus with the minimum balance for that month. Okay, so once you have this minimum balance minus from the ending balance, then we're going to get the surplus versus the deficit. Okay, so usually if positive, it's going to be surplus. Kalau negative, in bracket, it's going to be deficit. Okay, and this will be our end of cash reconciliation accounts. Okay, so that's the 4 steps that we need to do for the cash budgets. Okay, so dalam soalan ni, ataupun dalam slides ni, we have one example kat sini. So I will not use this example because we have answers inside here. You can try to read and to retrace balik how to prepare sebab kita ada answer kat belakang ni. But instead of doing this, we're going to use again past year. Okay. But before we try to do one past year, dalam satu lagi slide ni, slide number berapa ni? Slide number 10 here. There's one information that very important, this part, the third one. Okay, remember, this is a cash budget. So we are really concerned about cash only. So any non-cash transaction ataupun expenses, for example, depreciation, will not be included in the cash budget. Okay. Why? Because depreciation, as we all know, is just a reductions of values from your fixed assets. Okay, you ada motor vehicles tahun ni, tahun depan the value will reduce, will depreciate. Okay, adakah keluar cash kita kena bayar ke? Tak. There's no cash involved. It's just a reduction values in our account. That's it. So therefore, it will not be part of our cash budget. Okay, but be careful because this depreciation information, most of the time dia ada dalam soalan tu. They will put depreciation in the question. Okay, so your task is to differentiate lah which items will be part of your cash budget, which ones are not. Okay, selalunya yang tak ada is just depreciation ni je. So if you see depreciation in the question, please do not include it in your cash budget. Okay, so that's the only thing lah yang dalam slide ni yang for me agak important kat sini. Okay, so now let's try to prepare the cash budget based on past year. Similarly, macam cakap tadi for the previous group tadi, I use different past year. Kalau you nak tengok jawapan for December 2018 for example. Okay, I've discussed that with that group. So kalau you nak, you're gonna tengok video lah. Okay, but for you guys, I'm gonna use June 2018 instead. Okay, soalan yang lain, June 2018, question number 2. Okay. Try to show you as much as possible lah. Ni je boleh nampak. Okay. Okay. So again, June 2018 question number 2, Megah Holdings is trying to estimate the funds required for 2018. So dia bagi you a lot of information here, a lot of sales information from March 2018 until December 2018. So almost a year punya sales Some are actual, some are forecasted. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to use all if necessary. Okay, and then besides the sales figures, dia bagi you juga the assumptions. So from A until J here. So A sampai J ni ada berapa ni? 3, ada 10. It's about 10 kan? 3, 5, ada 10 assumptions that we need to go through. Okay, kita kena pakai semua if necessary lah. Kita tak boleh just simply, okay, kita nak ambil dividen ni masuk. No, you have to go through ataupun you need to incorporate everything from A until J in this question. If relevant to us lah. So mungkin ada yang tak relevant, nanti I'll show you lah kalau ada yang tak relevant. Okay, so the actual question asks us to prepare a cash budget for the third quarter. Okay, third quarter, and total marks nampak kat sini 20 marks. So we're gonna prepare for third quarter. So third quarter ni berapa, bulan berapa? Third quarter of 2018. Remember kalau lah you salah pilih bulan, so you gonna lose some marks lah kalau you salah pilih bulan. So third quarter ni for which months? For that particular year, 2018. Kita ada banyak information ni sales ni daripada March until December. So but the question asks us to prepare just for the third quarter. So third quarter bulan apa ni?
Julai.
Julai je?
July till September.
Yeah, so July until September 2018. So kalau you buat, I don't know, June, July, August contohnya, so you're gonna miss the September punya portion lah. So you're just gonna get marks from July and August saja. So make sure third quarter, remember quarter tu means 3 months. Okay, in a year kita ada 12 bulan kan, 12 sebab quarter tu suku kan, so 12 by 4 is 3 months. So we have a 3 months interval. So kalau first quarter tu means Jan sampai March, for example. Second quarter, April, June contohnya. So know your quarters correctly. So for this question, they ask us to prepare the cash budget for the third quarter, which is from July until September. Okay, so as always, we're gonna start with the title. So the company is Mega Holding tadi kan, nama dia Mega Holdings. So we're gonna prepare the cash budget. For the third quarter of 2018. Okay, so this is our title. Just make it a habit, start dengan title lah. Okay, for every statement, kita kena start with the title. Right. So once we have the title, we know we have four sections tadi I cakap kan. So our first section is actually about cash receipts. Okay, cash receipts. And the third quarter, as you all said tadi, is for July, August, and September. So we're going to prepare for these 3 months. Okay, and here, kalau you perasan again, the sales figures dia letak in thousands macam ni. So I'm going to copy that as well. Okay, so it will be based on Ringgit Malaysia 1,000 here. So I don't have to put everything in full values. Okay, now once you have this information, maybe I spread juga lah ni. So we're gonna have July here. Okay. So first items under receipts, if you remember I said tadi, we're gonna start with sales. Okay, sales. This is our very first item dalam receipts. And sales nak dapat kat mana? From the table here. Okay, kita ada banyak kat sini, but the ones that concern us is just July, August, and September of 2018. So what we need to do, just copy je lah. July is 3680. August 3008. And for September is 4250. Okay. So that's our very first step from sales value. Okay, but okay, the one that concerns us actually is from A ni, the collection. Okay, the collection. Remember as I bagi example tadi, the sales transaction ni tak semestinya semuanya cash. Okay, some might consist of credit sales. So we are concerned with the values and also the timing. Okay, so therefore we need to use this assumption yang A ni. So we're gonna put the assumption the 30% is for cash, whereas the balance the following month. Okay, so that's the nature of the payment. So I'm gonna write here cash. Okay, how much? 35%. And the balance, okay, balance kalau ditolak 65% lah kan, 65% will be collected the following month, meaning 1 month later. So 1 month later, I letak kat sini, 65%. Sekejap I have to mute you. Okay. So how to record respective values? Tadi ada tunjuk example. Okay. Yang 600,000 tadi kan. So similarly, okay, I'm going to record the cash transaction first. So for example, for July 3680, 35%, it will be 1288. So 1288 ni is come from 3680 times 35%. So we're gonna have 1288. Okay, for August 3008 with 35%, we have 1330. Okay, 3008 times 35%, we have 1330. And for September 4250 times 35%. Okay, near the point lah. 425. So we have 1487.5. Okay. The 0.5 kat belakang ni. Okay. That's for cash transactions. Okay, but remember we have the 1 month later part ni. So for example, again, if you focus for July, we have sales of 3680. So 1288 already received immediately within the same month. Okay, but we know the balance, okay, the balance of this will be paid 1 month later, which is in August. So 3680 times 65%, we have 2392. So 2392 ni kita akan dapat ataupun receive in August 2392. Okay, 2392. Okay, so if you combine 2392 dengan 1288, you should get 3680 balik lah. Okay, similarly for August 3008. Okay, so 65% will be recorded the following month, which is in September. So here we have 2470. Okay, 2470 in September. Okay, 3008 by 65%. We're going to record it in September. And now we're left with this value for July, 1 month. So meaning, which sales figure we need to use. Okay, so July, kita receive in July, 65%, meaning the sales happen 1 month before that, which is in June. So therefore June kita kena tengok lah, June punya sales kat dalam table ni is 2440. Okay, so 2440, 65% of it is 1586. So 1586 will be received here. Okay, 1586. Okay, so now we've completed for A. Okay, A is done because we use both assumption, 35% cash, balance collected the following month. So kita ada 3 bulan je, so kita ada macam ni lah, ada 6 items . Okay, and just please be aware, this 35 and balance collected ni is not the same every question. So every question will have a different combination. Okay, macam ni dia hanya ada 2 payment je, cash dengan balance. Some question dia pecah 3. Cash 1 month later, 2 months later. Okay, ada yang pecah sampai even 4. Okay, so it's case to case basis, question to question basis. So read the question carefully. Okay, read the question carefully. Kalau macam soalan ni tadi contohnya, kita buat for Proforma tadi, kita tengok soalan cash budget dia. Cash budget dia question 4 ni, cuma dia tak letak dalam format numbering sendiri, dia just put in essay form macam ni with paragraphs macam ni, so still 20 marks. So dia punya payment tu normally customer pay 70% the sale of same month and then pay the balance equally within 1 and 2 months. So maknanya dalam soalan ni dia pecah 3 kali. Cash 70%, the balance, the credit tu dia pecah 2 kali lagi, 1 and 2 months later. So in this case, they have 3 payments. Okay, customer dia akan bayar 3 kali. So it's gonna be cash 1 month and 2 months later. Okay, so yeah, it all depends on question. But for this question, 2 kali je. Right, so we've done A. So once you've done A, the next thing usually, ataupun bukan usually lah, I always suggest the students to go through from B until the last items to indicates ada tak lagi cash receipts. Remember, cash receipt indicates the inflows, the incoming money. Right? So go through from B until the last one, J tadi kalau tak salah. J. Is there any income ataupun receipts yang lain? So for example, B, Mega Holdings purchase. Okay, purchase. So when they talk about purchase means expenses lah. And then they pay. Okay, the supplier is paid. Maknanya the company Mega Holding yang bayar kepada supplier. So payment again is expenses. It's not receipts. This disbursement. Okay, but for D, yes, rental of 5,000 is received every month. So this is receipts. Okay, ataupun inflows. But diterima. So D we have to record here in cash receipts. Okay, rental. So after this 1 month sales ni, straight away letak je rental. How much? 5,000. 5,000 berapa? Timing every month. So meaning it will be fixed 5,000. And again, even though kat sini letak 5,000 and our statement tadi the 1,000 is on top. So don't put 5,000 in total kat sini You just put 5 je lah. Plus 5,000 kat sini. Okay, so the key is make it consistent. The recording to make it consistent, the values. So the rental will be 5,000 each month. Okay, so dividend, yang E pula, dividend of 86,000 again will be received. Okay, so receive again masuk dalam receipts. Okay, in September sahaja. So meaning do we need to record July and August? No, because in terms of timing, it happened only in September. So I'm going to put dividend here, dividend. How much? 86,000. When? September. So September I letak 86,000. 86. Okay, so technically D and E is already done, recorded here. Check juga yang lain. F, utilities expenses. So this is expenses. So it's not receipts, disbursement. Monthly payments. Again, disbursement. Company pay insurance. Again, disbursement. And then they have ending balance. Then interest rate if they have to make a loan. Okay, so bila you nampak ada ending balance ni semua, this is all for cash reconciliation together with the interest rate. So therefore, that's the only things that we have for cash receipts. Kita dah go through semua, then kita boleh conclude, okay, that's the only things that we have. So once you have this, underline benda ni. Okay, so we're gonna find what we call as total cash receipts. Okay, total cash receipts. Okay, so besides underline after the dividend, I always also encourage for the students to underline the value after the sales. Okay, why? Because if you remember this 3680, okay, walaupun it happened in July, tapi the money, the cash tu will only be received 2 times. Here, number 1, 1288. Then the second time, 2392 ni tadi. Okay, ni 9 2392. So, if we add 3680 as part of our cash receipt, is technically we are double counting. Okay, sebab sales ni sebenarnya kita dah record dekat Julai dengan August kat sini. So therefore, we don't need these values inside our cash receipts. Okay, so that's why I will always encourage to underline this to differentiate the item that we need to add. Okay, so technically we need to add some things in between of these two ni je, 2 line ni. Okay, so for example, for July, it will be 1288 plus 1586 plus 5. So we're gonna have 2879 here. Okay, for August, 1330 plus 2392 plus 5. We have 3727. Okay, and for September, 14 at 7.5 plus 2470 plus 5 plus 86. So we're gonna have 4048.5. Okay, so that's our total cash receipts. Okay, our total cash receipts, which is our first step tadi lah, to determine the amount and also the timing for our cash receipts. So we've done 3 out of 10 information kita dah incorporate dalam kita punya statements. Okay, ada soalan tak so far? Ya.
Ada soalan. Macam yang tadi kan ada contoh soalan yang kata apa, yang 1 month, 2 month tu kan. Macam contohnya cash lah. Kalau contoh cash tadi tu dalam 60% kan. Macam ni yang satu 1 month dengan yang tu kita nak balance kan berapa persen untuk yang
So contohnya macam ni,
1 month dengan 2 month.
saya nampak ni tadi kan. Betul 40 tadi dia kata the customer would pay 70%. Okay, so the cash is 70%. So we know lah the cash is 70%.
Okay.
So if cash 70%, we know automatically our credit will be 30%. Betul.
Betul.
And dia kata kat sini the balance 30% ni, technically 30%, dia tak cakap kat sini 30%, but dia kata the balance will be paid equally. So kalau 30% equally, it means
50% lah.
15-15 lah kan. So that's how we determine lah. So maknanya the next month 15%, the 2 months later another 15%.
Ada tak yang macam contohnya yang macam apa yang timan yang macam saya cakap kan, ada yang lebih daripada tu? Boleh? Ada yang adakah benda tu sama equal ke ataupun dia ada beza-beza dia bagi?
Dia boleh bagi 3 different rates pun. 70%, 20%, 10% macam tu boleh.
Mana itu dia bagi, dia ada figure lah. Kalau tak ada susah agak tu nak tahu kan.
Mesti dia akan bagi tahu. Dia takkan tak bagi tahu lah. Kalau tak kita tak boleh assume. Assume within the range yang ada dalam soalannya. We cannot assume outside this. Kalau tak macam ni kita, everyone akan ada different interpretation dia kan. So every question dia akan provide you detail lah the assumption tu. So kalau equal, you know lah the balance yang equal. Right?
Okay, terima kasih.
Okay. Okay. Mari kita contoh sedikit. So once we have these cash receipts, we're going to continue with the second step, which is the cash disbursement. So I'm going to put here cash disbursement number 2. Cash disbursement. Tak muat letak short form je lah, cash disbursement. Okay, so for cash disbursement, okay, we're going to start with purchases. Okay, always start with purchases. But the rest nanti kita akan follow question lah. Okay, tapi untuk receipts kita start dengan sales, and then follow yang A ni, dia punya payment macam mana, and then the rest, okay, follow whatever information that we have lah. Not necessarily lepas A kena B, C dulu Untuk receipt tengok yang lain kalau ada. Okay, but for disbursement, we always start with purchases. Alright, for purchases, unlike sales dia bagi macam ni, right, in the table format macam ni. But for purchases, okay, we gonna have to use the assumption. So soalan akan bagi assumption dia. Okay, for purchases, assumption dia dekat B ni. About purchases kan. The company purchase raw material 2 months in advance. So this is again based on questions. Kadang-kadang ada yang 2 months in advance, ada yang sometimes just 1 month in advance. So tengok soalan But for this question, it's 2 months in advance. So maknanya sebelum dia jual, dia kena beli raw material dia 2 months before that. Okay, so amount of raw material required 60% of sales. So we know the value is 60% of sales. Okay, 60% of sales. And so value-wise kita tahu 60%, but in terms of timing, it happens 2 months before ataupun 2 months in advance. So kalau kita nak buat Julai sekarang ni kan, Julai, so kita kena refer sales bulan berapa sekarang ni?
Mei.
Mei
Jun.
2 months ni, kalau Julai ni, Julai. Jun masuk bulan. Okay, I recap balik apa yang your answer tadi If I purchase in July, okay, I beli raw material in July, I will sales to sell kan, I will sell it in May, you said tadi kan? Betul tak?
Betul. Mei. Silap boleh.
So I beli Julai. Okay, lepas tu I jual in May. Betul tak?
Bukan September.
Okay, again, kalau you baca B ni balik The company purchase raw material 2 months in advance. Okay, purchase ni yang 2 months in advance. Okay, so technically kita purchase sekarang, 2 months later baru kita jual. Betul? So kalau you purchase in July, takkan you sell in May kan?
September.
So yeah, so don't get confused dengan the word in advance. In advance ni yang purchase yang in advance, not the sales yang in advance The purchase yang in advance. So therefore, if you want to prepare July punya purchases, you're gonna refer to the sales ni 2 months after that lah, maknanya in September. Okay. That's why again kenapa dia bagi banyak sangat sales figures ni, sebab we need to use again forecasted values juga. So therefore for July, okay, July punya purchase So purchase July, kita akan jual in September, 2 months after that. Okay, purchase ni in advance 2 months, sales happen 2 months after. Okay, so 4250 times 60% will be 2550 kat sini. Okay, so how I get this 2550? September 4250 sales times 60%. Then I get 2550. Okay, sama jugalah for August. Now you kena refer kat table lah. Kita tak ada October punya value kat sini. So October punya value kena refer kat table. 4,000 times 60% is going to be 2,400 here. Okay, so August kita refer October's punya sales. And for September, it's going to be November's punya sale. 3,009 times 60%. So 2,340. Okay, 2,340. Okay, so heads up The purchases ni walaupun dalam soalan kita kena buat 3 bulan je lah. Okay, but you might require to find purchases for other months as well later. Mungkin. Okay. Now, after purchases, so kita dah siap lah B ni We've done our B purchases. For C, dia kata the supplier is paid. Okay, we are talking about payment for purchases Kita akan bayar ni kepada supplier lah sebab kita beli our raw material from our supplier. And this supplier will be paid based on 40% in the same month which the purchase occurs. In other words, this is cash lah sebenarnya This is cash and the cash is 40% of the purchases. And the balance will be paid equally Ni macam soalan yang kita buat tadi, tapi itu tadi untuk sales That's for sales. Cuma yang ni untuk purchases The balance will be paid equally 2 months after purchases. So what does it mean? You're going to have another 2 payments. 1 month later and 2 months later. Okay, and this balance will be paid equally. So kalau 40% cash, so we know the balance is 60%. Kan? 60% of purchases will be paid equally. So kalau 60% equally, we know it's 30% here, 30% here. Okay, just like what I've discussed tadi masa yang ni. Yang ni tadi sama konsep macam ni lah. Okay, cuma ni untuk purchases. Right, so untuk purchases punya payment ataupun payment of purchases, we're going to have a 3 stream of payment. Kita ada cash, 1 month later, 2 months later. So technically, we have 3 months, we have 3 so maknanya kita ada 9 items kita kena cari. 9 items. Kalau tadi ni 6 je. We have 3 months, we have 2 payments kan. So we have 6 items we need to find. But for 3 payments macam ni, we're going to have to find 9 items. Okay. So always start dengan yang easiest one. Yang ada kat dalam kita punya scope ni lah. from July, August, September ni dulu. So first we start with July dulu. So July 2550. Okay. 40% of it is cash. So cash dia 1020. Okay. 1020. Okay. This is based on 2550, 40%. Then I get 1020. So 2550 ni juga, if we go 30%, we have 765. Okay, this 765 balance will be paid equally 1 month and 2 months later. So kalau purchase berlaku in July, so 765, which is 30% of it, will be paid 1 month later, which is in August. So we're going to record 765 kat sini. And we're going to record another 765, which is 2 months later, which is here. Okay, so 1020 plus 765 plus another 765, so you're going to get 2550 balik lah. Okay, cuma dibayar 3 kali. Okay, immediately cash, 1 month later, 2 months later. Okay, so we've done 3 out of 9. Okay, so ada 6 lagi. So again, sepatutnya kita boleh buat cash dulu lah sebab semuanya based on respective months punya transaction. So for example, for August 2004 times 40%. So we have 960 dekat sini. Okay, and for September 2340, 40%, you're going to have 936 dekat sini. Okay, so for cash ni sebenarnya yang paling senang lah sebab dia from the respective months. So 3, 5, so we have 4 more items. So senang lagi kita tengok yang ni. For September, 1 month. So 1 month before September is August kan. So August punya August punya purchases 2004. And 30% of it is 720. Okay. So technically 2004 ni 40% immediately 960. So the balance is supposed to be 720 dekat sini sekali. It's supposed to be another one in October. Cuma sebab October kita tak record kita tak payah tulis lah 720 in October. Okay, so we left with 3 items to go. 3 items to go. So this is where we need to have purchases for the previous months as well. Okay, so contohnya for July ni July 1 month 30% ni. So 1 month yang kita akan bayar in July, okay, it's actually purchase yang kita buat the previous month because we paid deferred 1 month 30% kan. So maknanya purchases in June, kita akan bayar 30% of it in July and actually in August juga. So therefore we need to know actually what will be the June's punya purchase. So to find the June's punya purchase, again follow this rule kena follow rules of purchases tadi. June punya purchase, we're gonna buy ataupun we're gonna sell it 2 months later. So purchase in June maknanya sales akan berlaku in August. Okay, so 3008 in August times 60% for the purchases. So we're gonna have 2280. So imagine sepatutnya in June purchases dia adalah 2280, 2280. That's why I said if you are not comfortable by having only these 3 months, meaning you nak juga ada for June punya purchase or May punya purchase later, you can do that. Okay, kalau you rasa you tak comfortable lah sebab tak nampak figure tu kan. But if you're okay with what similar like what I've done here, okay, you boleh proceed sama macam I buat ni je lah. Alright, so it's up to you. For me, I tak letak, so I just know that in June purchases dia adalah 2280. So how I get this 2280 again? I recap. For June punya purchase, we're going to refer to August punya sales 2 months later kan. So August punya sales 3008 times 60%, you get 2280. So technically 2280 ni 40% dia akan bayar immediately in June juga. Okay, but the balance equally they will pay 30% of it. So 30% of 2280 is 684. 684 kita akan bayar 1 month later, which is in July. 684 And the balance, we paid 2 months later from June, which is in August. Again, 684. Okay, just similar like what we have here lah untuk Julai ni 765, 765. So sepatutnya dia akan go that way lah. Cuma untuk yang ke depan ni, we don't have that information. We don't have to put pun. So now we left with one more information, which is July, 2 months before that. So maknanya purchases yang berlaku 2 bulan sebelum Julai. So 2 months before July would be May. Okay, May punya purchase. And we don't have May punya purchase. But to find May punya purchase, we're gonna use July punya sales. Okay, sebab dia 2 months kan. So 3680 times 60%, it's gonna be 2208. 2208 times 30%. And dia ada point kat sini It's gonna be 662.4. Okay, 662,400 sepatutnya lah kalau you tulis in full 662,400 ringgit. Okay, double confirm jap, 3680 times 60%, then times with 30%. Okay, 662.4. Okay, and that's complete our payment of purchases. So kita ada 9 items 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so once we have all 3 informations, ataupun 9 in total, technically we've done C. Okay, so dalam cash budget ni, sebenarnya yang paling tricky is to find this part. Yang ni je, purchases together with the payment. Once you pass this step, the rest is quite straightforward. Okay, even yang tadi sales ni pun sebenarnya not that bad lah, nampak macam susah mula-mula, tapi as compared to cash disbursement ni, for the purchases and dengan payment ni, this is yang paling tricky lah of all. Okay, but once you pass this, the rest is very straightforward. But before we move on, ada soalan nak tanya? For purchases and also payment for purchases. Okay, kalau tak ada, then again, follow je balik the sequence of the questions. So, sorry.
Yeah. Sir,
Yeah.
boleh ulang tak sir yang 2 month tu, yang 30% tu macam mana dapat dia punya calculation tu?
62.4 ni
Untuk Julai
Yeah, okay. So, ingat this is payment by the way, cash 1 month, 2 months, these are the payments for the purchases that they made. Okay, so for July punya second month ni, purchases dia berlaku 2 months before that. 2 months before July. So 2 months before July should be May kan. Sepatutnya ada June kat sini, ada May, satu lagi kat sini. So May punya purchase, but we don't have May punya purchases. So to calculate the May punya purchases, okay, follow this rule yang dekat B ni tadi. May punya purchases kita akan jual in July. 2 months kan. So July punya sales 3680. So 3680 times 60%, we're gonna get the purchases untuk bulan Mei. So 3680 times 60%, kita dapat 2208. So Mei punya purchases, ni purchase would be 2208, 2208. Okay, so ni purchase dia. And technically, kalau kita ikut sequence ni, 40% dia akan bayar immediately bulan yang sama, bulan Mei. Okay, tetapi untuk the balance 1 month and 2 months, dia akan bayar 30%. So 2208 darab 30%, you dapat 662.4, 662.4. So when this will be paid? 1 month later, which is in June sekali, 662.4, and 2 months later in July sekali, 662.4. So that's why kita dapat ni lah. In July, 662.4.
Okay, thank you sir.
Boleh Alright.
Boleh.
Alright. Okay, so like I said once kita dah pass purchases dengan payment ni punya stage, the rest is gonna be straightforward lah. Okay, so kita continue lah. A, B, C, D and E kita dah complete. Some dekat receipts, so far some dekat disbursement as well. So next we go to F. Okay, utilities expenses. So kita akan letak kat sini utilities. Okay, is 5% based on the current monthly sales. Okay, untuk soalan ni dia variable It's a variable expenses and dia akan berubah mengikut sales bulan tertentu. So for this case, it is based on 5% on the current monthly sales. So maknanya sales yang kita ada dekat atas ni, untuk Julai, Ogos, September, kita akan gunakan valid value ni and based on 5%. Okay, 5% of respective months. So kita tak ada bayar in advance, kita tak ada delay, kita bayar everything on the same month. Okay, so for example for July 3680 kita punya sales, so 5% would be 184. Okay, I try balik takut salah kira tadi. 3680 times 5%. 184. Okay, 184 in July. Okay, and then for August 3008 times 8 times 5%, it would be 190. And 4250 times 5%, again the other point kat sini, gonna be 212.5. Okay, so just respective months punya sales 3680 times 5%, 3008 times 5%, and 4250 times 5% respectively. Okay, we don't have to adjust carry forward ke in advance ke, tak ada. Everything happen in the same month. So that's utilities. Okay, untuk soalan ni dia guna variable. Some question dia akan guna fix macam yang G dengan H. Okay, so for G dengan H ni dia guna fix. So therefore we don't have to calculate, we just copy je. So for example for G, company makes a monthly payment of 85,000 for salaries and 37,000 for other admin costs ataupun other admin expenses. So what we're going to do, kita letak salaries dulu. Salaries, how much? 85,000. So I'm going to put 85,000 saja, 85. Okay, remember kenapa I tak letak thousands kat belakang tu, sebab we already have thousands here. So make it consistent. Jangan kat sini letak full pula 85,000. Padahal kat atas ni tadi ada 00, you rely on the thousands on top here. Okay, so don't mix up, or else your figures memang haywire lah lari. Okay, that's salaries and then other admin. Okay, other admin expenses. So other admin expenses 37,000. So let's put 37,000 each month. Okay, so straightforward. G. Done. Okay, so for H, ada dua item kat sini. Okay, first is insurance premium. Second is tax. Okay, so again, kita akan letak insurance premium first. Okay, insurance premium. And insurance premium still monthly 15,500. So we're gonna put 15.5 kat sini. For every month, 15.5. Okay, but for the tax, there are taxes kat bawah ni. All the taxes is only payable 11,000 ni in August sahaja. Okay, remember the concept of value and timing. So this tax is only happen in August alone. So jangan letak setiap bulan nak So the 11,000 we just record in August. Okay, so 11,000 occur in August alone. So dekat 2 bulan ni tak adalah no transaction for taxes. Okay, so H done. So for this question, we don't have depreciation. Okay, so you will not fall for the trick lah. Tak ada soalan depreciation kat dalam ni So don't. Kalau ada pun jangan record. Tak sure soalan ni ada tak. Contoh macam soalan ni question number 4, December 2040, dia ada letak kat sini. Fixed asset depreciation, 5,000 monthly. Okay, so this is a trick. Don't put depreciation dalam your disbursement. Okay, do not put. Untuk soalan ni lah. Okay, but for this question that we've tried so far ni, we don't have depreciation. So therefore, you don't have to worry about that lah. Okay, so that's it I think. Sebab I dengan J ni is for reconciliation. Okay, bila we nampak kata ending balance, minimum balance, we know already that's for reconciliation. So therefore our cash disbursement dah habis. That's it. So similar like receipts, we're gonna find the total juga. Okay, find the total. Okay, find the total. And similar like sales, these purchases pun kita tak nak double count because 2550 ni kita dapat cash immediately and then deferred 1 month dengan 2 months later. So we don't want to double count the values. So kita akan underline juga the purchases ni. Okay, so technically we're gonna add ataupun we're gonna total up the values from cash punya payment ni sampailah the tax. Okay, to find what we call as total cash disbursement. Okay, total cash disbursement. For plus 85 plus 37 plus 15.5. Okay, so for July, it's 2687.9. Okay. Okay. You pun tolong check lah kalau I salah kira ni. Kita nak cepat ni. So I'm gonna calculate, but if there's any discrepancy, just let me know. Plus 85 plus 37 plus 50.5 plus 11. So 2747.5. Okay, and last one, 936 plus 720 plus 765 plus 12.5 plus 85 plus 37 plus 15.5. 2771. Okay, 2771. No point. Okay, so that's our total cash disbursement. So kalau tak ada argument atau complaint, I assume ni betul lah. So kalau ada jawapan lain, just let me know. So now, once we have this total cash receipts and total cash disbursement, our third and fourth step, I combine je macam cakap tadi combine to one. Just put here number 3 third step. We're gonna find what we call as net cash flow. Okay, the net cash flow. So if you recall balik, the net cash flow is the difference between total receipts dengan total disbursement. Okay, so what we need to do, just take 2879 total receipts for July minus dengan 2687.9 the disbursement. 2687.9. So we have 191.1 here. Okay, for July. Okay, so we're going to do for all 3 months. So for August pula, 3727 total receipts minus 2747.5. So it will be 979.5. Okay, and the last one, 4048.5 minus 2771. We have 1277.5. Okay, so as you all can see here, the pattern of their net cash flow every month keep on increasing. So meaning they will have more cash every month. Okay, their cash balance tu akan bertambah dengan banyaknya lah every month, as you can see the progress here. Okay, because the receipt is much more than compared to the disbursement for respective months. So they're gonna have excess cash every month. Okay, but this is not the end sebab kita tak habis kira lagi ni. This is just based on respective months. Remember, once we have this respective months punya cash, okay, we need to total up with the previous month ataupun previous month punya balance, which will be the beginning balance for us. So the question kata the ending balance for June is 123,000. Okay, and ending balance in June will be opening for July. So we are preparing for July pun kan ni. So therefore we're going to add with beginning balance. Okay, remember ending balance for June 123,000 will be beginning balance for July. So for July, that will be our beginning 123,000. So add I put a add sign kat sini, maknanya 191.1 ni plus dengan 123 ni. So we're gonna have 314.1. So this is what we call as our ending balance. Okay, ending balance. And similarly like this, kalau ending balance June 1, 2, 3, kita bawa in July 1, 2, 3. So kalau 314 in July, so we're gonna bring this value to August pula. Okay, so the August kita akan carry forward 314.1 plus with 979.5. We're gonna have 1293.6. Okay, and this value again will be carried forward juga 1293.6 plus 1277.5. We're gonna have 2571.1. Okay, since kita punya net cash flow ni semua positif kan, so therefore our ending balance keep on increasing lah. Tapi kalau ada certain months yang negatif, katakan we overspend that month, katakanlah that month kita buat investment, kita beli new machines, menyebabkan kita punya disbursement is more than receipts, then we're going to get a negative net cash flow kan. So it's going to reduce our ending balance kalau ada. Okay, but for this case, no. Every month positive, therefore our ending balance keep on increasing every month. Okay, but this is not the end. Okay, kita baru settle the ending balance ataupun beginning balance for July. The second part of I ni, dia kata company intends to maintain a minimum balance of 60,000 every month. Okay, so next one, the fourth item under this reconciliation, we're going to have minimum balance. And minimum balance, we're going to minus it. Okay, remember this, sebab kita nak maintain, kita nak reservekan dia. So therefore we have to excludekan as part of our balance lah. So that's why we minus the minimum balance. How much? 60,000 every month. So it will be fixed 60,000 every month. Okay, so once we have this, once you minus the balance ni, minimum balance, okay, so this is where we're going to find out whether they have surplus or deficit. Okay, so by looking at this, we know it will be surplus all the way. 314.1 minus 60 is 254.1. The second one, 1293.6 minus 60. And I have 1233.6. And last one, 2571.1 minus 60. And I have 2511.1. Okay, so this is our end lah of our statement. So for I, dah siap. But somehow, soalan ni, dia bagi satu lagi information. Interest rate of 12% per year will be charged if, okay, ada perkataan if kat situ, if company makes a loan. Okay, what does it mean here? When will the company make a loan? Dalam case ni, the company doesn't need to make any loan because dia ada cash access every month. Okay, dia ada access every month. So when the company needs to make a loan, kalau dia ada deficit. Okay, kalau dia ada deficit. So kalau lah katakanlah one of the months ni dapat deficit. Okay, kalau ada so then they kena borrow. Okay, they borrow, and if they borrow, they have to pay 12% interest rate. Okay, but for this question, we don't have kan. So therefore, we don't have to use this information. Okay. And tak payahlah go through this interest rate. Okay, tak nak tunjuk pun lah. Tapi dalam notes ada kalau you tengok dalam notes ni, kebetulan ada satu bulan tu, dia deficit. Ni kat sini ada 2 bulan deficit in fact. Okay, so how digunakan dia gunakan the deficit tu as a principal. This is the interest rate yang dia kena borrow, 10%. Soalan tadi 12% kan, untuk notes ni 10%, and dia akan borrow untuk 1 bulan je, so 1 out of 12. So dia dapat 5.2 thousand kot ni. So this interest dia kena add kat dalam ni. Okay, kalau ada lah kalau ada. So you can go through dalam notes ni lah kalau you nak go through the interest on the borrowing. So the rest are the same actually. Okay. So this would be the full answer lah for apa tadi? June 2018. Okay, from top to bottom, the cash receipts, the cash disbursement, and also the reconciliation with net cash flow sampailah surplus deficit. Okay, as I said tadi, kalau you nak tengok walk through untuk December 2018, you can watch on the other groups punya video. Okay, I dah post lah sebenarnya sebab sempat tadi by 50 minutes right, dia punya video dah upload. You can watch jugalah kalau you go to the main page of the YouTube channel tu. Look dalam playlist, tengok group yang satu lagi. You all like I said is NBFO2A. Okay, so nak tengok yang satu lagi, tengoklah NBFO2B. Okay, punya this week is seminar number 3 kan. So tengoklah seminar 3 punya videos untuk soalan December 2018. Alright, slightly different lah. Okay, slightly different pun. Tapi kalau tadi pun December 2018 tu pun semua excess ataupun semua surplus macam ni. Alright, that's about it I think untuk cash budget that's how you do it. The tricky part, like I said, just about the purchases, the purchases and also the payment of purchases, and the rest are quite straightforward lah. Tapi the downside of cash budget ni, kalau you salah dekat disbursement tu, katakanlah you missed out cara kira purchases ataupun the payment of purchases tu. Katakanlah atas tu betul, your receipts 100% betul, tapi disbursement you salah dekat atas tu. Okay, the ones yang at the bottom here, yang dekat ni okey lah sebab ni tak ada kena-mena kan, utility semua very straightforward, you dapat betul. Tapi kat atas ni you slack somewhere kan. Unfortunately for your step number 3 kat bawah ni, you akan salah kebanyakannya lah, you will lose mark kat bawah ni. Okay, yang betul mungkin dekat beginning balance sebab ni daripada soalan. Okay, yang minimum balance pun mungkin betul lah sebab you copy from the soalan juga. Okay, ada marks kat sini. Tapi for example lah, kalau you salah in July itself, so your total disbursement akan salah, total disbursement akan salah, your net cash flow akan salah. So once you add dengan beginning balance, your ending balance akan salah. So you carry forward, item yang salah. So dia akan effect lah to the rest of your answers, unfortunately. So you salah semua dekat atas ni, ending balance semua salah, surplus deficit pun akan salah juga lah. So please be careful, especially for this part. Okay, yang purchases together with the payment of purchases. Okay, sebab dia akan effect dekat bawah tu. Sama jugalah kalau tiba-tiba yang susah ni betul. Pernah je I encounter yang susah ni semua betul tapi somehow dekat atas ni dia salah. Either dia terlupa nak letak rental ke ataupun again yang dua ni dia salah ke, mungkin. Selalunya macam ni lah, dia lupa nak letak rental. So once you miss out the rental punya payment receive ni, so you salah total receipt ni kan. So bila salah total receipts, katakanlah total cash disbursement correct, your net cash flow akan salah juga. So once you salah dekat net cash flow, again dia will affect yang lain. So again, yeah, that's the downside of cash budget lah. Okay. Okay, ada soalan. So as I said tadi cash budget yang kita baru buat ni dengan yang earlier parts yang I recap for Proforma tadi, both will be part of our first test. And the next question would be, when will be the first test? Okay, so first test kita akan buat on the 30th of May. Okay, meaning 3 minggu lagi. I know on the 30th of May tu hanya ada kelas yang 7 seminars ya. Okay, macam kelas kita ni ada 7 seminars kan. So on the 30th tu kelas kita je ada. I tak sure you ada kelas lain tak hari tu. Unless tiba-tiba ada lecturer yang buat kelas ganti lah. Hopefully tak ada. Macam group tadi dia orang free. So I'm gonna do the same as them, the test so on the 30th. Tapi bukan waktu kelas. Okay, sebab waktu kelas kita akan continue dengan topik seterusnya. Topik 5, 6, 7 whatever. 5 kot. 5 and 6 kalau boleh. Right. Tetapi after the class kita akan buat the test lah. Test akan dibuat selepas kelas. Ada tak yang ada kelas petang on the 30th tu? Ikutkan like I said 30 tu hanya ada untuk kelas yang 7 kali meeting sahaja. Unless you, patutnya tak ada kalau yang normal, patutnya tak ada. Tapi kalau you ada, just let me know. So tadi ada yang bertanya group dah masuk ke tak, I tak sempat tengok, tapi ada yang tolong letak, thank you very much. So dah terjawab lah kot So siapa yang tak masuk group lagi, please check out your chat tu, ada yang your friend dah tolong letakkan kat situ. Okay, so nanti I akan send balik reminder lah for the 30th first test tu. So I recap, first test will be done on the 30th of May. Topik 4 sahaja. Okay, topik 4 ada 2, Proforma statements and also cash budget. That's it. Okay. Alright, so if there's no other questions, okay, just nice to have 45 dah ni. I'm going to stop here. So for those yang tak isi attendance, again, please isi the attendance as always dalam view future tu. And again, kalau nak tengok recorded sessions, ada link juga dalam class schedule tu. Okay, dalam class schedule tu ada the link untuk setiap sessions. Okay, just to share with you, ni setiap kelas ada recorded link ni kan. So this is where you need, you can, I believe you tak boleh tengok semua lah. So you boleh tengok your group saja, to A tadi kan. So untuk 2A, you akan nampak 3 lah. From the first class, 11 of April, 25th dengan today 9th. Later baru ada lah, today, I tak upload lagi untuk today. Okay, but once you click katakanlah video salah satu ni kat sini. Ada gambar your friend dah kat sini. So kalau you go to the main page kat sini, ada playlist. Kan ada playlist kat sini. So you can check yang lain lah kat situ. Okay. Okay, so please browse je lah kalau ada video untuk group yang lain, especially group yang satu lagi lah, group B. Okay, sebab selalunya akan gunakan soalan yang lain. Okay, so as I said nanti update attendance. So I think that's about it for today. Thank you very much again sebab join, and I would like to take this opportunity juga lah untuk wish you Selamat Hari Raya in advance sebab kita tak jumpa next week kan, kita jumpa at the end of the month. So yeah, enjoy your holiday wherever you are, kalau boleh di mana-mana. Alright, thank you very much.
Doktor?
Ya?
Nak tanya dekat yang past question kat you future tu, memang
dekat you future lah, sorry.
Past year question yang 2018.
Itu je yang paling baru. Dah tak ada dah. We don't have any. We don't have since December 2018 sampai sekarang kita dah tak ada yang baru dah. Because paper ni dah tak ada final exam kan.
Oh, okay.
So that's the last one, and that's why I guna tu je lah sebagai reference yang paling baru. Then kita akan go back for 5 semesters je lah. Alright, so thank you. Alright, and Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, sir.